Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Aquarium Live. My name is Alicia, and I'm very excited to be joining you today. We have a lot of very fun things in store. So if you're joining us here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, feel free to ask questions, join along. We're going to be going on an adventure today to learn a little bit more about what our animals eat and how we at the aquarium take care of our animals and prepare all of that food. Now, while I'm here in our studio at the aquarium, I've asked my friends, Captain Joe from the Ocean Rangers and Sea Otter, to help us do all of our exploring around the aquarium. Now, boys and girls, as we explore and ask our questions and think like scientists, we're also going to be taking pauses to play some games. So I hope you're ready. Now, if you do have a chance to open up your YouTube and join us for the live chat, we have people who will help us with those questions. Or, boys and girls, you can just shout out your answers and play along with us. Now, again, today we're going to be exploring all about one of my favorite topics, which is food. How many of you like food? I like food. Our animals like food. But we have lots of different animals here at the aquarium. In fact, we have over 11,000 animals. And as you can imagine, they eat some very, very different things. And we have to feed them in different ways. So let's go ahead and join Captain Joe and Sea Otter, and they're going to start us on our adventure to see how we prepare and feed our animals.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Aquarium of the Pacific. I'm Captain Joe of the Ocean Ranger, and I'm here with my co-host Sea Otter today in the Northern Pacific Gallery at the aquarium. And we're here to investigate about food today, Sea Otter. Now, I do know that food is one of your favorite things. Sea otters have a huge appetite, but unfortunately today, Sea Otter, we're not here to eat food. We're here to investigate food. I know. We're going to learn today about how our food is prepared for our animals and also how our food is fed out to our animals as well. So Sea Otter, let's team up. You go that way, find more about the preparation of the food, and I'll go this way and I'll find out more about how that food is given out to the animals. Ready? Let's do it.
All right, boys and girls. So we just learned that Captain Joe is going to be investigating how we feed that food to our animals, because some of our animals, like you saw in our connection, are very small. So they can be fed maybe by hand, but other animals live in homes here at the aquarium, which we call exhibits, that are very big. And we may need to have people help us get in the water with those animals. So Captain Joe's going to go and meet some of our scuba divers, investigate a little bit more how we feed some of our big exhibits. Now, Sea Otter, if you remember, is going to investigate how we make our food and prepare it for our animals. Now, if we're going to make our food, we should check in with our husbandry department. And husbandry is our animal care staff. So we have care staff that take care of our sea otters. We have care staff that take care of our invertebrates, like you saw, like those little sea anemones, those little spineless animals, and our fish. So we have animal care specialists that look into all of our different types of animals and help make those diets every day, that food every single day. So let's check in with Sea Otter, and she's going to meet up with Rob from our husbandry department.
All right, that's a great question. First of all, my name is Rob Mortensen, and I'm the assistant curator here for the bird and mammal group. Behind us, we have the food prep room. This is where all the food for all the animals, including you, comes from. All right, Sea Otter, well, as you can tell, this is a busy time in the morning. This is food preparation time. Behind you, we have food preparation going on for the fishes. Over here, we have food preparation going on for the sea otters. Anyone interested in that? Yeah. Food preparation going on for the birds. And finally, over here, we have food preparation going on for the seals and the sea lions. So we got a lot of food preparation going on in this room at this time of day, every day.
All right, so it looks like there's a lot going on right now. We're going to go ahead and take a moment and see exactly how they're going to prepare the food for the otters in their individual buckets, okay? So basically, we were talking about lots of different kinds of animals, and we're going to see how they actually prepare the food.
All right, Sea Otter, so here we've got food prep going on for all your little otter buddies. We have to divide it up so we know who gets which, because each otter gets a little bit different food. You can see these are smaller bins. We got larger bins over here. We mix all their food together, and then we take it out and we put it into these nice stainless steel bins, which we wear on our pouch right here on our hips. So when we go in to feed, we have our hands free. That works out really well. You can see we have shrimp, we have clams, and we have squid. As a matter of fact, I think I still have some squid I need to cut up. You want to help me? All right, and we just weigh everything out based on what each otter needs, and each one's a little different. So we'll just cut up this squid here. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. This isn't yours. We'll just get this all cut up here. And they can eat whole squid, but the reason we cut it up is because it makes it easier for training. It gives us bite-sized pieces, kind of like popcorn to a sea otter, so that works out really well. Of course, seals and sea lions swallow their food whole, so we can feed them pretty big fish without having to worry about it. But sea otters chew their food. And we're done. We will just put this in the bin.
All right, everyone. Thank you for the, sorry for a little bit of delay. All right, so we are going to take a pause and in our exploring to play a little game. Now, again, this is an opportunity for you if you'd like to play along. Now, we did have a question that came through as we were exploring, and the question was, how long do sea otters live? That's an excellent question. So sea otters, if they're out in the wild, they live anywhere from about 10 to about 12 years. Now here at the aquarium, because they get lots of expert care from our veterinary staff, by the way, we're going to be visiting our veterinary office today and our Lena Animal Care Center today and learn a little bit more about that care. And because they get very high quality food every single day, they can live over 20 years. In fact, we had a sea otter here named Charlie who lived 22 years, which is a really long time for a sea otter. All right, boys and girls, so what's going to happen is we're going to play the puzzle, and then we're going to pause it and give you a chance to guess what animal is hiding. Now, don't forget to look for clues. Look for colors, shapes, even what you think that, compared to the background of the animal, what you think that animal might be. Ooh, okay. Are we being good explorers? Are you looking closely with me? All right, I see red. I see some examples of this animal's habitat or home behind it. This doesn't look like a very soft animal. Oh, so okay, boys and girls, do you think you have an idea? Now, I'll give you a little hint. This is an animal that would be on a sea otter's favorite menu, food menu. So there are a lot of sea otters who would love to eat this little critter. Let's go ahead. Maybe you can just shout out your answers and see if you've guessed correctly. Oh, did you guess it, boys and girls? It is a crab. All right, did you make your very best crab impression? All right, so this red crab here has those very big pinchers you can see on its claws here, and they actually crush up their food with those claws. Some of those claws even have almost like teeth-like projections to help them grind and crunch their food, which is pretty cool. Now, this is a pretty crunchy animal in itself, right? So if you were a sea otter and this is on the menu, you would have to use some pretty special tools to crack open this crab. In fact, sea otters do something very special. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you. Sea otters will take something like a hard-shelled item. Let's see if I can find one here for us. Ooh, here's a big shell. All right, here's a nice shell. This is an abalone or snail shell, and they will keep their favorite tool and their little sea otter pockets. Now, not pockets like your jeans. They actually have their pockets somewhere kind of funny. Ready? Go ahead and stick your arms up with me. They have them in their armpits. They do. They have them in their armpits because they have extra folds of skin, which they can use to store their favorite tools. So they'll put their little tool like this. And our sea otters here at the aquarium, you can always tell when they're hiding their toys in their pockets because one, they have that mischievous look on their faces. And two, they have this little bulge as they swim around. So they'll carry their rock or their shell, and then they'll lay that shell on their belly. They'll float on their back. They'll take the crab that they've just caught, they'll lay it down, and they'll take their second rock or shell and they'll crack that open. And they can do that with some pretty interesting prey items or food items. Even like prickly sea urchins can be on the menu for them, which is pretty interesting. All right, boys and girls. So we had a couple more questions that my friend Amanda's going to repeat for me so that I can remember what they were. Oh, how many different types of sea otters? I believe that there are two subspecies of sea otters, but we can have that verified. Oh, just our southern sea otter. Well, one species that we have here at the aquarium. Oh, why don't they cook their food? That's a great question. Well, they don't need to cook their food. That would take a really long time. You know, they're tool users, but I don't think they've mastered how to get that oven going. So we're going to go ahead and continue exploring. And I think that after our puzzle, we're going to go ahead and check in with Rob, again from our husbandry department, who's going to tell us a little bit more about how they decide what animal eats what, right? So when you're getting ready for your day and you're packing your lunch, you probably want to know, what's going to make this a healthy lunch? Well, we have Rob, who and his team in the husbandry department, who basically makes sure that all the packed lunch that we give out every single day is nice and healthy for our animals.
Well, you're probably wondering how we keep it all together and we get everybody the right amount of food. The way that we do that is by using these dry erase boards, and each one of the animals is listed on there by name and also by color. Their color corresponds to their bucket. They have a little tag on there, so we always know, for instance, Shelby always has the bucket with the blue tag. Blue is her color. It's also the shape in the case of the animals so that we can hold up a shape and get them to come to us wherever we're at in the exhibit.
We have a board. We have it very well organized for everybody. Now, I just got a ping from Captain Joe, again, who's exploring up in our Tropical Pacific Gallery in one of those exhibits. Now, let's go ahead and check in. He was going to investigate how we feed the animals. So we just went into our food preparation room with our husbandry department. They prepared in all those different buckets, and that gets sent out to our animal exhibits. Now let's find out how that's actually given to our animals.
Welcome back, boys and girls. We're here investigating how we feed our fish at the aquarium.
Captain Joe, I'm curious, why are you wearing a wetsuit?
Well, while I was investigating, I found out that we have scuba divers that help us feed all of our animals. And to make sure that all of the animals are getting fed in our large exhibits, like this big one behind me, they actually get inside of the water and help feed all of the animals.
Oh, that's really interesting. Now, Captain Joe, so you have some of your tools like a wetsuit, which you're wearing, and that makes sure that you stay nice and warm because it can actually get cold after a long time scuba diving. So that's really interesting. But I wonder if they have any other special tools for feeding the animals.
Here are some of the tools that our scuba divers use while feeding our animals. This right here is a feeding bucket. We'll use these on our larger animals here at the aquarium, like our rays or our Queensland grouper, and the divers will get right inside the water and feed them right from this bucket. It is very, very cool to see. Now, our smaller animals, believe it or not, some of them love vegetables, broccoli, lettuce, and the others, they like very small worms that we can actually squirt inside the cracks in our coral, and they love trying to get at them. Now, this is very cool. These are grabbers, and our divers will use these at the surface to feed animals like sharks and our sea turtle. Now, boys and girls, we've learned a lot from the observations we've made here in our tropical gallery. I think what we should do is go meet back up with Sea Otter.
Ah, all right, Captain Joe. But before we do that, boys and girls, I wanted to show you one of our exhibits that I was talking about. So Captain Joe was right below one of our largest exhibits here at the aquarium, which is 350,000 gallons. And as we explore this exhibit, I can answer a few questions that came up in our live chat. So one of those questions were, what do they do for fun? Oh, so let's go ahead and take a moment and we'll watch this beautiful exhibit. Now remember, all of these animals have to eat just like us. So we have to make sure that we have different ways to feed them. So again, go ahead and enjoy the view and I'll answer some of those questions for you. One of the questions was, what do the sea otters do for fun? Well, they are very, very playful. And one of the things that we do for them is we have treats and we can hide their treats in toys. We can hide their treats in ice. Believe it or not, sea otters love it when we put out ice cubes or just ice out onto their exhibit and they roll around in it. They love to make little snowballs with it. They even sometimes put it in their little sea otter pockets, which is pretty fun. So they have lots of what we call enrichment, and that can be anything from food enrichment to toys, or even the training that we do with our sea otters. Keeps their minds nice and healthy to learn and engage in new ways, and to even stay healthy by exercising. All right, one of the other questions was, what is the favorite food of a sea otter? Well, you know, that actually depends on the sea otter. They can be really, they can just be like us. You know, I love French fries, even though that's not very healthy. But I love French fries, and not everyone loves French fries. For sea otters, many of them really love things like crabs and urchins, things like abalone. So that's just a few items. Again, they're pretty special animals in our kelp forest because they can eat animals that others cannot eat, like that prickly sea urchin. And that really helps keep the balance in that habitat. How many pounds of food do they eat per day? Well, that's a great question because believe it or not, again, because of their role in the kelp forest, they're actually eating quite a bit. They can eat up to 15 plus pounds per day, and that helps them stay really, really warm. And if they're eating things like those sea urchins and those things found at the bottom, they're active for a big part of their day finding their food. They spend a lot of their day finding their food, cracking open, eating, and also making sure that their beautiful coats, that sea otter pelt, stays nice and clean. So you'll see them rubbing their face and twirling in the water, and that helps keep them nice and clean. All right, we're going to go ahead and actually, I'm going to answer one more question. The question was, how much do they weigh? And that's, again, it depends on the animal, and that's 45 to 60 pounds. 60 pounds is a really big sea otter, so they average a little bit in between there. Those are some really great questions. All right, I think what we're going to do is actually go back and visit Sea Otter. Sea Otter is going to step back in with us. Oh, hi, Sea Otter. Oh, hi, how's it going? Wait a minute. Sea Otter? Wait a minute. Sea Otter, are you supposed to be eating that?
Sea Otter. That's not your food. That's not your food. Your food's in the refrigerator. Let's put this with your food and we'll go get yours. Your feeding time's coming. Come on. All right, Sea Otter. You ready to see where we keep your food? We keep it in the refrigerator. Let's go on in here. Here we are. This is the refrigerator. I know it's cold. You should be good with that fur. I don't have fur on. I had to wear my sweatshirt. Here's your food right here. You can see your little bin is already gone. It's on its way up to the exhibit, so we got to get up there so that you can go get your food for the morning.
All right, so Sea Otter tried to be sneaky, but I think she was just very, very excited to have her snack. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like.
Now that we prepared all the food for the day, now we have to do the most important step. We have to clean the kitchen. Just like any restaurant or hospital, we use stainless steel, so it's really easy to clean. We even use stainless steel scrub pads and lots of soap. Hot water and a little elbow grease, and the kitchen will be all sparkly and new.
Let's go ahead and play our second puzzle of the day. Again, we're going to show you a little peek of the animal. We're going to pause it, give you a chance to guess what's going on, and then we'll go ahead and use the clues from our observations and see if you're correct on guessing that animal. All right, this is a blue animal. Ooh, mostly blue. I spy an animal. Ooh, it looks like there's some coral back here, part of this animal's habitat. I see dark blue and light blue, and even, oh, this is very interesting. I see this little triangle of yellow, which sometimes can be a warning for other animals. So if you see some of these bright colors in tropical environments, sometimes that's a communication to other animals saying, don't get too close. All right, now, did you guess what this animal is? Let's see if you're correct. Oh, did you guess it? This is our Palate Tang. Our Palate Tang is very popular in our big tropical exhibit. They're also easy to see because of this bright colored tail. You may have seen the Palate Tang as you were exploring one of our very largest exhibits, that Tropical Pacific Gallery. Now, this is actually warning you that she has a tiny little barb right here on her tail. So if you were a predator trying to eat this fish, trying to bite her from behind, she might actually stick out this barb and defend herself with from that predator. So she's trying to let everyone know ahead of time that don't mess with me. I have a way to defend myself. Ooh, let's see if we can find her in the webcam. All right, boys and girls, are you using your good observation skills? Again, look for those little tinges of yellow. You can see them down here. Kind of a good scale of how big the Palate Tang or the powder blue tang. This fish actually has lots of names. All right, so we're looking, oh, there's another little yellow. So you now know the name of this little fish that's swimming around in the background. So again, if you're looking at our webcams, by the way, these are webcams that are accessible any time of day on our website or through explore.org. They're really fun. You can start looking for those colors and shapes. Colors are used in many, many different ways to communicate to other animals. Sometimes they're used to blend in. Sometimes they're used to say, come over here, and sometimes they're used to say the opposite. Back away, give me some space. All right, boys and girls, now I did promise that we were going to learn a little bit more about how we take care of our animals here at the aquarium. And one of the best places to visit is our Molina Animal Care Center. Now, this care center is open for all of our animals here at the aquarium, and we have staff in our veterinary department that work and care for our animals. And I'd love for you to meet Shara, who is one of our veterinary technicians, and she is going to tell you a little bit more about how we care for our animals, especially our sea otters, and how they have their checkups.
Welcome, Ocean Rangers. My name is Shara Seals. I am a veterinary technician here at the Molina Animal Care Center. This is our vet hospital for all of our animals here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. I work with Dr. Lance Adams, our veterinarian. Do you guys ever go to the dentist? Yeah, me too. Well, some of our animals here at the aquarium need to go to the dentist as well. So today we're going to clean some teeth on a sea otter. In the wild, sea otters use shells like clams and urchins to naturally brush their teeth. But here in the aquarium, we help them out a little bit. We don't feed them shells. We take them to the dentist. Once a day, they get their teeth brushed with a toothbrush, just like us. And then once a year, when the otters come for their dentist appointment, they have the same thing done as you and I would when we go. let's go over some of the tools that we use to clean their teeth. Here we have a fake plastic otter skull. This shows you what their teeth look like. This is a polisher. This polisher is used to polish their teeth. So we have to use toothpaste as well, and this is bubblegum flavored. Use this toothpaste with the polisher to polish their teeth, and we make sure we get all the crevices. We also use this scaler. This gets in between the teeth where the polisher doesn't reach. And then we also have hand tools that we can use. These kind of act as dental floss. They can get in the really small crevices. So we can pick all of the plaque out and keep their teeth clean. All right, now that you guys have seen some of the tools that we use to clean their teeth, let's do it for real. Today we're gonna clean one of our sea otters, Betty. Gotta put my protective gear on. One thing though, they have to be asleep when we do this. So it's better for them and it's easier for us. So let's go check it out.
Our very last activity today is our question of the day. So we've been learning all about sea otters. Can you name a food that we might be feeding to our sea otters? Now, Rob and Sea Otter were touring in our food preparation area and showed us a little bit about what goes into their buckets. We played a puzzle, hint, hint, of one of those animals. So if you think you know the name of a food that we might feed to our sea otters, you can either shout it out or you can, in our chat, go ahead and enter that now. I wonder. Now, as we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and answer a question that came up. The question was, do animals sleep? Or do animals do? Well, that's an interesting question. Do sea otters sleep? Well, I will tell you, yes, they are mammals just like us, and they absolutely need to sleep. In fact, they can do that in a couple different ways, but most often they will take this stuff. Now, this is artificial or fake seaweed here, just to give you an idea, and they will float over to, swim over to their seaweed, and they will sometimes even wrap themselves. They just go ahead and wrap themselves all the way in this seaweed, and then they can tuck their adorable little faces in. Sometimes they'll even like this, which is adorable, and they will sleep in the kelp so that they don't float away. Sometimes they create what we call a sea otter raft, and they'll link their little paws together, and some of them will be wrapped in the kelp, and some of them will just float next to each other. It is very cute. They call that a sea otter raft or a group of otters. All right, did you guess the answer? All right, let's go ahead and reveal a couple examples of food. All right, so some of those that you may have heard me say today would be clam, which we're eating over on the corner here. We'll go ahead and put our studio view back up for you. They might eat squid, they may eat clam, they may even have crab. So there were quite a few examples that I'm sure that you thought of during our question of the day. Boys and girls, you did a really good job today, and I'm so excited that you were able to join us. It looks like we have one additional question here of what eats a sea otter. Well, you know, sea otters are pretty good at defending themselves. They're related to wolverines and badgers, which means that they're feisty, and they will definitely defend themselves from most animals. But as as young as a small little sea otter, they do have to be careful from predators that might come on land, and that's why many sea otters stay out in the ocean when they're young. But they could also be preyed upon by sharks. So they have been known to be eaten by sharks, especially great white sharks, and sometimes even orcas, but that's not as common. All right, boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our friends Captain Joe of the Ocean Rangers and our Sea Otter, and I hope you keep exploring.